Conti, bella palla per Rebic, Ibra, Rebic, il tiro, goal!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Tallgrew.
What's up guys, happy to be here. We got Madison.
Yeah, happy to be here as well.
And Gian. Here we go, the gang's all here.
Gian, that woo is going to get you like 2 points in your rating because of the lack of excitement. Yeah.
Yes, podcast time. Sorry.
There we go. I'm going to clip that and use it for the get your questions in tweet. Just Jan going, yes, podcast time. Right. So what I thought last week, obviously the season had ended, but we had other things to talk about. And I know Jan doesn't want to mention his name, so we won't mention his name. We covered that last week. Whatever happens with him, with the flake, wherever he goes, it is what it is. But frankly, it's time to move on, innit? You know, we've got things to talk about. We kind of postponed on doing the season recap stuff last week just because you've got to go with the most contentious stuff at the time. But now it is time for season recap stuff. So this should be pretty fun. Obviously, this is going to be more enjoyable given that we've finished second, which is our highest finish since 2011-12. Pretty good season overall, you would say, but it could have been worse if we'd have missed out on the top four, obviously. So I've got written down some bullet points for awards, basically, end of season awards. So the 6 categories that I've come up with. I might magically think of another as we're going along, but this is just what I've written down. It's something similar for the website, so if you haven't seen it, go check that out. But we thought we'd do it on here as well. So I will say what the award is, and then AJ, you can go first, and then Maddie, and then Jan, and then I'll say what mine was. So yeah, your pick for each of these.
So, disclaimer, I don't remember what I chose for the article.
It doesn't matter if it's different.
Okay, just going to say I don't mind. It might change. I don't know. It's been a few weeks.
I don't think anyone's going to cross-compare.
I've just got mine up on my computer screen, so
might do the same.
I'm consistent.
Because I actually put thought into that, and I know that I'm going to forget something if I do it off the top of my head. But let's go for it anyway. AJ, your game of the season we'll start with.
Oh man, I genuinely don't remember, but I think you got to go with either the 3-0 Juve victory or the final one against Atalanta. You know, those were obviously towards the end of the season, but the biggest reactions, I don't think I felt anything as a fan like I felt after that Juve victory in a long time, and then securing Champions League after Atalanta is just a no-brainer. That's massive. So one of those two. Take your pick.
Yeah, this is going to be super different from AJ. No, it's not. It's the same exact thing. I would say the 3-0 over Juve, only because it kind of set the tone for the last 4 games. Of course, securing Champions League at Atalanta was great, but I think if we would have lost to Juve there, it would have just been game over.
Yeah, or even in hindsight, if we'd not won,
right,
those 2 points would have made all the difference in the end. So I remember people talking about it before the game as if it was a game we just couldn't lose, but in actual fact, looking back on it, it was a must-win. Jan?
0-0 against Cagliari.
Yeah, that was a good one.
No, Lazio 3-2 at the end of the year. That was last minute. That bullet header from Teo just were crazy because it kind of made us think, the Scudetto is on, obviously. Shit happened.
Yeah, it had us believing, didn't it?
Definitely my favourite game of the season, I think.
And it was, I think it was 2 days before Christmas as well. So I was thinking that I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the festive period as much if we'd slipped to second because we needed to win to keep top spot. And just the way that it happened, and that was a really good game as well. Just in general, like it was end to end, both teams were up for it. So it was an enjoyable game, and what an ending, like you say. And that was the moment where I doubted it all season. But that was the moment when I just thought to myself, holy shit, is our name on the trophy here? When moments like that go for you, you start to think, have the stars aligned? And they didn't, because we didn't win the league. But
yeah, that was the highlight of my festive season because I got diagnosed with COVID the day after that. So no good events afterwards. But
yeah. I mean, you would trade it, probably. You would trade it. You said, AJ, if this corner goes in, but you've got to get COVID, you'd probably sign up for it.
Lick my face.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference. We got second regardless. So
Yeah, that's true.
Had we have not won that game, we would have been 2 points behind. So we wouldn't. Would we have?
You can pick that for any win of the season, though.
Yeah, I think we just
for any,
Well, that's a good point, though. That is a good point. Right, it's my go, innit? Obviously, the Juve game is a good shout to win for the first time at their stadium, to do it in such a commanding fashion, to do it in a game as big as it was. That's a good shout. The Lazio one's a good shout. I actually really enjoyed beating Inter in the derby as well, first time round, but then losing in the cup and losing in the second half of the season kind of shine off that a little bit. I'll go with the 2-0 against Atalanta just because we talked about it on the podcast without wanting to jinx it before that game, about how it was like a perfect way to close the cycle, because purely the only team that he hadn't beaten was Atalanta. Atalanta pretty much outplayed us in 2 of the 3 games before that. We thought that they'd be fired up, and our record at their stadium isn't particularly brilliant. Thought the pressure might get to us after a tough season, blah, 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 but we went there. We conquered our kryptonite. We did it with a really professional performance, defended so smartly and well. And it was just fitting as well that it were 2 penalties to do it after the way that the season has been. So, yeah, I'll go with that one.
When was the last time we picked up at least 3 points against every team in the league in a season?
There was a stat about that. I remember seeing it at the time, but yeah, to beat each team in the league season. My guess is it'd be a team from the one of the sides from the 90s, because obviously we had an unbeaten season, so you think maybe we did it then. But yeah, that in itself, what an accomplishment to beat everybody.
Yeah.
That is good, and that shows that that game in particular, the last game of the season, shows the progress that we've made. Because if we'd have bottled that, then there'd be it's the same old problems.
Well, I mean, it shows that you could literally beat anyone. So there's nothing's out of question at that point. Like, you have a win over every team in the league. Why can't you do it twice? Why can't you get the Scudetto? Like, there's no reason to doubt them anymore. It's not you write off every game against Juventus. Now it's like, well, we beat them last season. Why can't we do it again? You don't write off games anymore. So it's definitely a step forward.
Next one, goal of the season.
Let me just pull it up real quick. Oh yeah, this one actually. Yeah, this was a great one. Leao versus Benevento, when he was like near the corner flag but towards the top of the box, and he just spun 360. It looked like something out of a FIFA game, and it just curled in perfectly to the far top right corner. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah, that was an amazing
I'm going to say the second Kessié penalty at Atalanta, because that just sealed it up.
Yeah. The thing I remember,
I started
as
screaming,
well,
man. I was so happy.
Yeah, it was an outpouring of emotion. But I just remember thinking that when we got the penalty, it didn't even really matter if he scored or not, because it took up the time needed to make sure we were going to win. You know what I mean? But for it to go in and for all the celebrations down in that corner, God, yeah, what a moment.
I'll go with Ibra's goal against Inter. The counter-attack one, where the Belgian king of Milan spun his man, passed it to, was it Hakan, then distributed it to Leao. He did his crazy little thing, and beautiful team goal. Yeah,
that was an amazing goal. Front to back in like 12 seconds and 4 passes. Yeah. Salamaca's turn for that, Jesus Christ. That compilation that Comps ACM have done of Salamaca's season, you see how many times he did that when he had his back to goal and he found a way to spin off his man. We need more of that next season. Lends to my idea that he could maybe play number 10, but that's for another episode probably. But yeah, that's a cracker. Mine, I'm going to go to be different. I think I put this in the article actually. Rebic's against Juve. Not only did it open up a huge 2-goal lead at a ground where we'd never won before, but just the technique behind it was incredible. People say it sat up nicely for him, whatever, but that in itself as a team goal, the desire to win the ball back in midfield, showing the press, Rebic taking up a dangerous position, turning well, finding the top corner, leaving Szczesny absolutely rooted. It was just beautiful. It was poetry. And yeah, that was probably the most satisfying. But if you want to talk team goal, I mean, Leao's against Sassuolo, the one where we scored after 6 seconds, as a standout moment. That was incredible.
I think I put that one in the article.
I think you put that for the assist.
No, you put Krunich's goal against Hellas.
Oh, that was a good free
Good thing
kick.
you guys remember what I put, because I don't.
Yeah.
It's in front of me.
Another honorable.
Oh, you've got it right in front of you.
Zlatan scoring with his knee. That was pretty cool too. I don't remember who it was against, but it was like point blank. It was impossible to miss. But it was just cool that he needed it. You don't see that every day.
No, that's cool. Zlatan's acrobatic effort against Udinese as well at the time was pretty huge, but it wasn't like a full-on bicycle kick.
I actually hate that goal. That's probably my least favorite of the season because it gets hyped up as a bicycle kick, and it's like always played in slow motion, but he whiffs the ball. Like, it's a
he shins it,
connection. He just gets lucky that it goes in. Like, there's no reason.
If he connected with that, it's straight at the keeper. But because he shins it and it goes off to the side, it goes.
Yes, but that's why he's Lion King and he's God.
Lion King.
It wasn't an accident that he did it that way. He did that on purpose.
Right, it was to throw everyone off.
Right.
Got us again.
Mentality.
The king. Right, so this one, I have a feeling this one's going to be unanimous. So we'll get it out of the way now. The player of the season.
Yeah, it actually was unanimous in the article.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Isaac's the only one who was different.
Well, that's because
no doubt he put Hakan or something. No, he put Kier.
He put Kier. Everyone else put Kessie.
Scandinavian bias.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's literally all it is. 100%. In fact, I think he wrote that. No, but he put up there with Kessie for sure. What do you mean up there with Kessie? If you're saying, you would say Kessie's up there with Kier. This kid doesn't know.
Yeah, well, that's why he's scared to come on here, because he'd be accountable to the shit that he spews.
Exactly. I don't think he knows how to actually read English, so
poor guy's getting slated now. So we all went Kessier. Everyone here went Kessier. And I don't see any reason to be controversial and be like, yeah, but what about, Teo? What about whoever? I don't know. I don't think there's too many contenders because a lot of our key players missed big chunks of the season due to injury or due to COVID or whatever. And that obviously has a bearing, whereas Kessier played virtually every game and he was 7 out of 10 in the vast majority of them. He had a couple of quieter games, but apart from that, he was absolutely outstanding. Give that man the armband. Just what a guy. I guess some honourable mentions. Kier's not a bad shout as an honourable mention. But if you want to talk, Calabria, if you want to talk about a player who was consistent in their position, and I know you can't really give it because he was only here for half a season, but if you think of the impact that Tomori made, he was huge in our.
The English bias is in full swing.
The Canadian-Nigerian. No, he's an England international, to be fair to him. And I don't even understand how he's not in the squad, by the way, for Tyrone Mings to get in. And but, yeah, that's for a different day. Next one, we are on... Let's go with assist of the season. Now, this was quite a hard one, I suppose, as a category. Because are you picking out an individual pass, or are you picking out like a team move or whatever?
Well, it wasn't that hard. If you look at what was written, everyone either put a Leao goal or assist. So everyone picked Leao for one portion of that. I went with his assist with Zlatan for the first goal against Roma. It was like just an inside thing while they were doing opposite runs. This is off the top of my head right now, but Leao was cutting in. Zlatan was making a dart towards the goal, and he just lobbed it over a bunch of defenders, and it touched Zlatan just perfectly and went opposite direction of the keeper. He didn't actually have to kick it. It just his first touch put it in. So, that was a beaut.
I did the Leao play when he scored it against Sassuolo. So I think there was like 2 passes or maybe 3 at most. I don't know who. I think it was Hakan who played the final ball in.
I'm struggling to remember if it was him or Brahim.
No, it was Hakan.
Yeah, I think it was Hakan who went on that run. Just a run like from the centre circle to the left corner of the box, and then Leao made the run across. And that was mental because I was shit scared going into that game because like we had some players out, and I was thinking I don't know how we're going to cope against the Sassuolo team that at that point were on a good run. And then after 6 seconds, it was like they were saying, shut up, Ollie, you don't know what you're on about. And then Salah did it 2-0, and the rest is history. Jan, yours?
I've got to lay out again for Ibra against Inter, and then the Calabria pass to Zlatan against Cagliari, I think it was. That day after Bastoni made that beautiful pass.
Oh, God, yeah.
5 times better.
I'd forgotten about that.
Beautiful
It was a better ball. It was a better ball. I remember tweeting about that at the time. Yeah, those two are very, very good. I mean, the Leao one where he bent it around the outside, around the back of the defence against Inter after we cut them open with 3 passes or whatever it was. That stands out to me definitely. I've forgotten the Calabria one, and then also the in terms of like pleasing on the eye, Napoli when Teo crossed from the left side and Ibra got that header on it into the far corner. You start pinpoint cross and a brilliant header. That was as much about the finish as the actual assist. So I think Ivan picked that one. Right, so this is slightly different to goal of the season or game of the season. Moment of the season. So this just being a generic sort of moment from a game that you remember, or?
Yeah, I didn't pick one generic moment from one game. I put leaving Turin with 10 unanswered goals just because it was, 3 back-to-back days or something like that. 3-0
3 back-to-back days?
That's not what I meant.
Within 3 days.
Yeah, within 3 days. Thank you. 7-0 win over Torino and the 3-0 win over Juve a couple days prior. It was just, we felt like you were on top of the world. Nothing could stop us. In fact, we all were talking about how the upcoming game against Cagliari was, Champions League qualification day. Like everyone it was set in stone. And that high to be a fan in that moment was next to none. So and then it was ruined when we drew against Cagliari that day.
I also called the draw against draw. We scored too many goals. We're not going to score any this weekend.
Used up all our goals, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. The Torino game was a freak, and I stand by that because we went 3-0 up early-ish on in the second half, and for whatever reason, Torino's manager just said, I'm going to open us up even more. And we just kept playing through them every time we went forward. We could have genuinely scored 10 that night. Didn't we hit the post twice as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the worst team in Serie A. It's magic that they even stayed up.
I can't believe that they did. And they've actually appointed someone decent, really. Juric did an all right job at Hellas Verona, considering. I can't believe he dropped down like 10 places, but Serie A's a bit mental like that season. Gianpaolo going back to Sassuolo as well. That's another one that I just don't understand. How do you go from a manager like De Zerbi, who plays good football, to Gianpaolo, who would literally, in his system, Berardi wouldn't have a place because he doesn't play with wingers.
What's mad is if Benevento would have just picked up 2 results after January, they would have been safe and Torino would have went down. That's how bad Torino were. But
Benevento had an awful second half of the season. They won only one game, didn't they, in the second half of the season, and it was
against Juve, right?
Yeah, it was Juve in January. That's what I'm saying. Like if they just got 2 results after that, that would have been enough. That's all they needed to best Torino.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
They lost to every team below them, and that's when they started thinking, they're sliding now, and they can't get any points. And then apparently Pipo Inzaghi might be going to Brescia, which is a strange one, but gotta love it, haven't you? Merry-go-round. Jan?
Ibra calling Lukaku.
Oh, sorry, Maddie. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a very good one. I think in the article, I wrote giving Gian the $50 because I'd happily pay anyone $50 for us to be in Champions League. So I'll stick with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Best £20 I've ever spent. Said at the time that was a win-win bet for us because I would have happily paid £20 for us to get in the Champions League.
Right.
So it was double jeopardy.
I also did not believe that we were going to be in Champions League.
No, I thought going into the Atalanta game that I'd be getting £20, but it wouldn't have softened the blow. I wanted to lose that bet, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And then, what was mine? Oh, mine, I decided to be different to it. Because obviously I edited this and I put my answers in last, so I tried to be a bit different to everybody else. The Rio Ave penalty shootout that now feels like it was 3 years ago.
You put him in first, and you even said in anticipation of what's to follow. So you didn't do it after.
Yeah, I did do it after, but I'd seen what was following. if you know what I mean. Hence why I went differently for this one. Rio Ave penalty shootout. It was just mental. That night was just mental. I was up covering the game until, what was it, like midnight our time? 14-13 or something on penalties after we'd scored 121st minute penalty just to take it to the shootout. I feel like the group learned a lot from that night, in terms of resolve and in terms of spirit. Yeah, it was an awful performance against a team that have been relegated this season from Portuguese top flight, but that was a hell of a test, and the reaction of the players afterwards suggested to me that meant more than just scraping into the Europa League. Just a bit of an abstract choice, that one. Right, so next one. Most improved player.
Calabria. I think that's
Calabria for sure.
I think this was unanimous among us four. I think we all put Calabria.
I didn't.
Did you put Salamarcas?
Oh, Sally, do.
That's a good shout, though, because a lot of people were... I remember at the start of the summer window, 2020, a lot of people were surprised that we decided to make his loan move permanent, because he hadn't played that much after he joined from Anderlecht. Mm-hmm. But then we were like, well, we've done it, let's put some faith in this kid, and he's proven to have a great season. Like, he's been immovable from the right wing spot when he's been fit enough.
Isaac put Krunic.
Oh, yeah, he did, and he wasn't joking. He wasn't joking. He told me in the chat that he was going to put Krunic, and I was like, no, that's funny. Like, seriously, who you putting? And he was like, well, you can make a case for him. I'm like, what?
Well, let's read his case for it, because
read it out, man. Put him on blast.
Isaac put Krunic. His first year with the club wasn't that impressive, but aside from a few poor performances this season, he asserted himself as a useful squad player and improved a lot.
Especially in the second half of the season.
Did he improve a lot? I feel like
I don't think he improved a lot.
He just got more game time.
Yeah, I feel like we saw more of him, and that's maybe like...
If Krunic improved a lot, then Calabria must have been paralysed before the start of the season and managed to start walking again.
That's the problem with these things, is someone's always going to be like, let me try and be different. Let me not take the obvious answer, and that's Isaac.
Yeah, 100%. Or me in some cases.
Yeah,
I just couldn't go devil's advocate on this, and it had to be Calabria, man. Like, people were, or rather the media were talking about him being sold last summer to Cagliari for 10 million euros, and now you're looking at a player who, in my opinion, is the best Italian right back. I know he's not got in the Euro squad, but obviously you've got the hernia and stuff like that. But he was just fantastic. I can't think of one standout really bad game that he had, whereas in 2019-20, there were a couple of occasions where he gave the ball away leading to a goal. He cut out the errors from his game. He got a lot better at one-on-one defending. His passing was just spot on. His crossing was fantastic. We signed, obviously, Dallo on loan from Man United, and he just did not get a look in because of how good Calabria was this season. And he's going to get a well-earned renewal. He's one of the lowest-paid players on the team at the moment, and his contract runs out in a year's time. So he's going to get a well-earned renewal.
And he's not even asking for that much.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I didn't pick Calabria was because the talent we always knew were kind of there. Consistency was his biggest key. Whereas with Saleh, we didn't really know anything about him. I think he only played 250, 300 minutes before his move was permanent, and he looked rubbish in them games.
Yeah, because he only played a couple games before the COVID break. So and then we made him permanent on the break. So it was kind of it was risky.
That's where my most improved bits come from, because we thought it was shocking. No one really knew why we'd made him permanent, and then he was just getting better and better as the season was going on.
Yeah. So Isaac, when you listen to this, that's how you make an argument for why you pick a player.
So,
not just because he improved somewhat.
Yeah.
Not because he got into the team.
He just played because there was no one else to play.
Yeah.
The thing with Calabria as well, the thing you can argue against was that he had a really good 2018-19 season, and then he dipped by his own standards. So you could say that he actually hasn't. He's just gone back to where he was as a player, which was pretty good. But I give it him anyway. I'm watching the under-21 Euros final at the moment between Germany and Portugal, and Dallo and Leao have been awful, absolutely awful. Leao is messing up every opportunity.
He's only just come on, hasn't he?
Have you watched it? Are you watching it?
No.
He's just leading a 2-on-1 break and he's hit it out for a throw-in.
I know, I'm
Anyway,
recording a podcast right now. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
My
I'm just giving lineup
attention
bits. Signing of the season.
Yeah, this is another one that we had one person try to be different, and it's really dumb. So I'm gonna shit on them later too. But this one was obviously Tomori. That's a no-brainer.
Same.
Yeah.
Tomori.
Cool. So the person who disagreed is everyone's favorite resident football expert, big brain genius Maxi. He put Kalulu. So,
Now, if you were trying to be different, you can make an argument for Kalulu in that he arrived for nothing and nobody expected anything from him and got something out of him. Like, he was all right when we saw him, but that is very much just a...
that is the argument he made. In fact, he even said he didn't play well, but he factors in that he was very cheap and looks like he has high potential. So,
did Moncada write that answer for him?
Probably. In fact, Moncada gets a shout out. He said another gem found by Albini Masar and Moncada.
Shows I didn't read what he put either as well.
I think if you want to get nitpicky, like Kier, because technically we signed him, or Sally, because technically we signed him at the start of the season, but other than Tomori, then there is
Tomori's the signing of the half season. In terms of like cost, in terms of value for money, I think I remember adding it up, and Hauger won us 8 points this season with his goals, which for a $4 million investment is not bad. It's just that 2 of those wins were in the Europa League, and then he scored a couple of equalisers. But got to be Fikayo and buzzing to hear that we are close to signing him on a permanent basis, which we'll come on to. The last one is just the worst player of the season, flop of the season, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that wasn't actually in the article.
No,
so
it wasn't. I've thrown it on you.
Get to be all creative here. Who wants to take a guess what I'm going to say? It's Castillejo. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
But did you expect a lot out of him?
No, and somehow he let me down.
A flop.
He still let me down.
There's an interesting point. Is that it's got to be someone that you expected a lot out of, and they let you down, or is it just worst player?
Flop. Yeah, I think Flop just has to be the worst player. But even if you want to go on, not exceeding expectation or whatever the below word is, failing to meet expectation, Castillo is still the guy. Like, I expected nothing from him, but he still let me down. Guy's just awful.
Yeah.
And if he stays here in the next season, I'm going to be let down again going into next season. So
that's true.
He's already off to a bad start.
So save AJ and sell Castillo. Maddy.
Oh, man. I know who I want to say so bad, but I'm not going to say it. I don't know. You can make arguments for Liao or Hakan because being the creative number 10, you expect consistency, and he was not consistent at all. Liao, I feel like we paid a lot of money for him, and he just doesn't show up. You could also say Ibra, because the first half of the season he scored 15 goals. The second half of the season he didn't show up at all. So
I knew you were going to say it. That's the thing. That is fantastic. Our top scorer is the flop of the season. That's generally how it goes. No, I know what you mean in terms of. I just don't know if you can blame a player for injuries.
When you're 40 years old.
To be fair, he took an unnecessary international call-up and got injured.
He also went to San Remo.
But he was suspended and got injured at San Remo. So,
he went to San Remo.
You're right. You can't blame him for those injuries. You can.
Yeah, Gian.
I'm going to be edgy and say no one let me down this year. We played part of the Champions League.
You didn't expect more out of Liao or Chalnoglu?
Yeah, but I expect more out of every player. Could have given a little bit more, and then would have been champions. So Yeah, for me, no one really has let me down massively this season.
No.
To the point where Castillo got a match-winning goal against Sampdoria, which everyone seems to forget. That's a valuable 3 points. Krunic got his against Hellas. Everyone's done a job at some point in the season when we've been injured, like Lulu, everyone. So, yeah, no one's really let me down.
That is a very Gian assessment. I quite like that. I'm going to say Leao to be edgy, and that I'm doing this to be harsh because in the first half of the season, we saw what Leao can be. He was playing both as a left winger and a striker. He was getting goals and assists. He looked dangerous. He looked sharp. He was beating his man often, getting into dangerous positions. The second half of the season, he was quite frankly dreadful, to be honest. And he just needs to put a full season together. Like, he had a half season in 2019-20. He had a half season this time around. The problem with Leao is when he ain't at it, he's not in the game.
But you could argue the same with Rebic, who's had
you
two
could,
half seasons.
Yeah, but the thing with Rebic is he scores more. He's hit double figures both seasons that he's been here, and he scores important goals. Does Rebic as well? But Leao. I've said before on this podcast, if an offer came in, then I don't think that you can not listen to it. But at the same time, I really want him to prove his doubters wrong, because that would mean that he explodes. And if he really, really starts to show the potential that we know is there, then we are going to be a much better team for it. To have somebody who can beat a man, because we haven't really got anyone else like that. That's why everyone's crying out for us to start the winger and stuff like that. But Leao also got shifted from pillar to post. He played a little bit on the right, but he got played as number 10, got played on the left, got played up front in games that just didn't suit him from a matchup point of view. So I feel sorry for him in that sense. But yeah, just to be different, I say that. Right, boys, it's quiz time. So I've done a 10-question quiz, and there is just one answer for every question, because I remember it being a bit confusing last time when there was multiple answers and it was whoever got them first. So this is just a one-answer quiz. So yeah, 10 questions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that the connection's all right, and I'm going to go with whoever I hear say the answer first.
Say that again, sorry.
Am I on mute? Yeah,
I think your headset turned off.
Every week. So, I will make a note of points. I better do that, Anna, just in case. First question. Shout as soon as you know it, but if you start just randomly shouting numbers, then I will take that into consideration. How many points did Milan finish on in Serie A?
79.
Madison gets it.
Bullshit.
What? Well done.
I definitely said that first.
Yeah,
I said it before anyone.
He'd finished saying it before AJ started.
Okay, well, that's rich coming from Mr. I can't fucking talk a full sentence without lagging.
Damn.
AJ, should we go have our own quiz on Skype?
Yeah, let's have our own quiz, John.
What, a one-person quiz?
Yeah.
It's
better than this one.
Okay, next one. But it's only been one question. That was the easiest one. Who
and
has
you got
made...
it wrong.
Come on, mate. Don't interrupt the quizmaster.
Ooh, sorry.
Who has made the most appearances across all competitions?
SCA.
Donnarumma.
He gets it again.
I definitely got that first.
No, you didn't.
No.
You didn't say anything.
I said Kessie. Literally.
I
said,
before he
I
finished the
I heard the E bit just after Maddie had finished. Look, we're getting to the point now where whoever gets it, we'll know. Like, you're not all going to answer the same thing. Who got the most yellow cards this season?
Chuck's answer doesn't count, by the way.
What did you say?
I'm Rebic.
No
I
one's
really
got it
don't
yet.
know. This what Teo?
Yeah. Yeah. Teo
Maddie
Hernandez.
gets the point.
I'm putting you on -1 for that. Who was Milan's highest scorer in the Europa League, including qualifying?
Hakan.
Jens?
Yep.
Okay.
Gian gets that one. The 2 goals in qualifying for Hakan takes him above Hauger, who got 3. Right. This one is, I think that you're either going to know this straight away or it's going to be a guessing game. This is question 5. For how many rounds this season were Milan top of the league?
23.
24.
23.
21
Oh, because we
rounds.
weren't into it was 19. We weren't in first until week 4. Was it 18?
Yes, it was 18. There we go.
Jesus, I had to, like my math. Yeah, because even though we won the first 4 games, we were tied on points or whatever. So it was like goal difference. I think week 1 through 3 we were in 4th or something like that. But
yeah, we were in the top 4 in the first 3, and then from there. Question number 6. How many minutes did Rebic's hat trick against Tito take?
9,
7,
10,
4 minutes.
12.
4 minutes. 12.
Oh.
AJ takes a 3-2-1 lead.
That was me. Oh,
It was all me, brother. It's all me.
I actually give up. I'm off home.
I can't wait to play this back and like see where it syncs up and just we're all wrong.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Watch Gian get every single one.
Yeah, he might do. If so, I'll retrospectively re-award the points based on what I hear on VAR.
Damn right you fucking will.
Question number 7. There's no prize. I mean, apart from pride in the case where AJ and Maddie went head-to-head and it didn't end particularly well. How many away games did Milan win in the league this season?
16.
Way!
Was it 16? I thought it was 17.
Yeah. Dan, that was you, mate. Maddie gets the point.
Thank you.
So it's AJ 3 points, Maddie 2 points, Gian 2 points with, of course, 3 questions.
Oh, how the
to
mighty
go.
have fallen.
3 questions to go. I've got a feeling it'll be a tie and I'm going to have to dig out a tiebreaker. Right, question number 8. How many red cards did Milan get in all competitions
7.
this season?
6.
6.
Gian gets
5.
it. It was 6.
He's back. He is back. It was 7 if you include Donnarumma when he got sent off when he were on the bench.
And I included that. I said 7, so just saying it should be me then.
That was just, to be honest, I don't know if it includes it or not, but I'm just going off what Who Scored said. Maybe it does count. I don't know, but we got 6 red cards this season.
I don't think they count it because he still was able to play the next game. No, he was suspended for it, huh?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Right, so this one, to the nearest whole number, so no decimals or anything. What was our average possession this season as the percentage?
1.
First.
No, like not
I don't
our ranking. What actually was it? Like, did we have 70% of the ball or?
Oh, possession? Oh, Jesus.
Possession.
57%.
65. 56.
Gian, what'd you say?
57%, 56%.
Got it.
54.
Well, hang on.
61.
I'm going to
53.
say 55.
52.
Wait, did
52?
I only just said someone got it?
52, no, it was 52. Gian
He
gets it.
takes the fucking lead. Woohoo!
I swear I
needs
always said
to-
you had already said it at like 56, so I just stopped.
No.
And then you just
Oh,
kept going.
I'm sorry about that, mate, but you've got a chance to tie it here because Jan is winning by 1 point. Maddie, unfortunately,
Is this final question?
It's curtains, and this is the final question. So, in the league this season, in how many games did Milan not score a goal in?
4.
Oh, fuck.
5.
5?
6.
6?
6 it is.
7.
Jan wins.
I said that! That was me!
It were you after. You did say it, but it was after,
Undefeated.
unfortunately.
Undisputed
I'll go.
champion.
We'll check the footage. And go back over it, but I can only go on what I heard.
Perfect this whole time.
Jan all of a sudden likes the quiz that he was threatening to leave after the first round. So
I've been
yeah,
bamboozled in 3 straight quizzes. This is unreal.
congratulations to
2 in a
Mario.
row. Doing it for the salad.
Oh, who added this guy to the show? Come on now.
Yeah. I
What do you
think
mean?
one thing I will say is that I think if Stefano was here, he would have wiped the floor with you and all of this, to be honest. But
Why does he have better connection?
Do you want to wipe that bit of crumb off into your mouth from his dick?
you have
I
to
don't know if
mark
you
this
can
is
say
not
that.
suitable for children.
Yeah.
No ads for this video. Right, let's finish off some listener questions then. Oh, in terms of rooms to discuss, there isn't an awful lot, to be honest. DePaul, we don't know if he's coming or not. We don't even know if Hakan's renewing or not. There's a lot of situations that are up in the air. It's kind of gone quiet after the Mignon signing, which is understandable. Gigio's still homeless. And then Giroud may or may not be coming because Chelsea have decided to renew his deal. So there's not a lot of movement on the market front at the moment, but of course there's the Euros coming up, and I feel like that's going to put a lot of things on hold, and things will really kick off in July once the tournament's over and players can actually go places for medicals and that kind of thing. So yeah, not too much to report on that front, but some of it we'll touch on in the questions as well. So I love Kyrie. He told me what his name was.
You said that was his girlfriend's name.
Kyrie's his girlfriend name. I'm sorry, it's just that for now, and I'll find your name again. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you. Which right winger would you want that we are linked with? I'd go with Adley because he has big potential and could be a bargain. So it seems like we want a new right winger to replace Castillejo, which is understandable. Someone who's a bit different to Salamanca's in the sense that they are more direct, I suppose, and more of a goal threat. Perhaps don't sacrifice as much defensively, that kind of thing.
Have we been linked with any out-and-out right wingers besides him?
Milan, you said Berardi, which is an interesting one. Obviously, he's an Inter fan, but last season, 17 goals, 8 assists. I mean, it's hard to argue with that production.
He had a lot of penalties, though, I think.
Yeah, he takes set pieces. He scored a free kick against us, for example.
I
like it.
If those are the only two, I'm going Berardi.
Mm-hmm. Iconi being the other one from Lille, and he's still my pick. I'm going to stand by that. Fast, strong, quick, direct scores, but also plays as part of a system. You know, Lille have won the league in impressive fashion this season. He was a big part of the team that beat us 3-0 at San Siro, and we were all like, how can we compete with this? So yeah, I'd go with him, but I don't mind Adley either because I trust our scouting network. They've not got a lot wrong. There's people who are writing off Adley saying not what we need right now. We need someone like Papu Gomez when, an acquisition like Salamanca's has proven that we actually seem to do better when we're looking for value. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind it because I trust Moncada, I trust Maldini and Massara. So if they think he's the guy, then let's get him in and let's work with him and have a bit of patience and hope that he gives us what we need. AJ's gone. I don't know if he can hear us or not, but I'll move on to the next question. Mitch asks, who'd be your alternative to DePaul if he ends up signing elsewhere? I'm presuming Hakan leaves in this circumstance.
It's Papa Gomez. Or
I'm thinking
Ilicic. Well, he already renewed with Roma, so that's not happening.
That's not official. It's not official yet, but it seems like he's gonna. I don't think he's renewed yet.
I'm pretty sure, because I put it in the chat talking trash to Maddie.
Oh, well.
When was that?
A couple days ago. You didn't respond to it. I don't remember. It was the day that Ancelotti went back to Madrid.
Right, okay.
As I said, you were like double mudded or something.
Yeah.
I'll go with a bit of a left field choice. Hassam Aouar from Lyon. Sounds like he can leave for like 20 mil because Lyon are skint again. And he would be fantastic. You know, he's been playing in a midfield 3 alongside Paqueta as like box to box. So people say, oh, he's not a number 10, but he can play number 10. He's done that. And also it proves that he knows the work rate that would be needed to play the number 10 in our system. So like him, I think would be a great fit.
I'm sticking by Dybala.
Yeah, you like the Dybala shout, don't you?
I would like that a lot. I just don't know if we'll pay his wages.
Yeah, I think we've shown a willingness to break our like internal wage cap for the right players, and I like that because there's always got to be exceptions.
But that is like a huge break of the wage cap.
No, but if we were going to pay $8 million for Prick, then surely we will pay a bit more for that like number 10 or a striker.
You would hope so.
Someone that
you'd
will
like
change
to think
the game.
so. Because if we're not willing to pay that, then we're not going to win the championship.
What are his wages at Juve? Because I think John's right. I mean, if they're what are they? He's not going to get paid more than Zlatan. We know that Zlatan has to be the highest paid.
Yeah,
so if he plays in 10% of the games next season, I bet.
And I do think that's kind of how his contract works, right? Like it's up
game
to a certain amount spent on appearances. Yeah, But I think Dybala is not out of question if he's for sale. If he's for sale, then I think that's an opportunity that we would take, and he absolutely would be the best available. But I don't know if he's going to be available with Allegri coming back.
It seems like he earns $7 million net, Dybala.
Yeah,
so it's not.
Oh,
it's not out
I thought he was way more. I don't know why.
No, I seem to remember something about he was
tax relief, wasn't it?
No,
Would he not?
No,
because he's in Italy from before. It was only for players that arrived after they brought it in. But Giroud would, for example, if he signed a 2-year deal, he'd qualify, and I think that's why we're looking at some targets from abroad, because if you can save on gross wages, it makes a big difference. Speaking of which, Milo De Luca asks, if Giroud signs as deputy to Zlatan, who would your preference be as a third-choice young striker?
Holland.
Agree, yeah. You can't really argue with that one.
I don't know, probably Vlahovic or Belotti. I hate Belotti, but I think you could get him less than 10 mil at this point. Got a year left on his contract. They're falling apart. So
I don't know about less than 10 million, but I'd take him too because he has scored. Like, he's been proven to be good season after season.
Yeah, he's scored double figures in Serie A in 6 straight seasons now.
Right.
So I'm surprised there's not a bunch of clubs that want him.
Martinez from Inter.
Yeah,
Help out there.
I feel a bit harsh though, bullying our cousins like that. It doesn't. It's a bit harsh. But
I'd probably take Kulusevski from Juve because he can also play right wing and he played up top for Juve a couple of times this season. So
that's a good shout.
What about Moise Kean?
Yeah,
that's a good shout too.
He would be really good, but I think he's going to stay at PSG, and I think
so too.
More than what we can pay. It's dark outside, in case anyone's wondering why I look like I'm in the basement again. And my choice randomly is not randomly. We have been linked to him. Raspadori from Sassuolo. I really like what I've seen from him. He's made the Italy squad. Sounds like we're after a young striker who's not going to cost too much. So it's all right saying let's go out and get Vlahovic, but I don't think we're going to spunk 60 million on a striker. As much as we want to, we can't see what's in the budget and stuff like that. So if we've got to go for someone who's like a 10, 15 mil option, has potential, can learn from 2 really good hold-up forwards in Ibra and Giroud. I like what I've seen from Raspadori so far. I think that would be pretty good. Then there's other strikers that, like Milan and Boadu from the Dutch league that are interesting. Edouard, yeah. Those are the kind of area I think we're shopping, and it's not bad, to be honest. If you go out and spend 50 million on a lad who's 21, like we'd have to do with Vlahovic, incredible pressure they arrive with.
Right.
We almost need someone who isn't talked about that much.
Yeah, if you're spending that kind of money, it has to be someone who's going to start the majority of your games. And at this point, it's not going to be anyone over Zlatan. That's basically the gamble of renewing Zlatan another year. Is can we A, get Champions League again, and then B, when Zlatan's gone after next season, like who's available? And maybe the gamble is to activate Haaland's release clause when it's 70 million, but then you got to fight with every other club on earth that's doing the exact same thing. So it's a huge risk to do that.
Think
but
Zlatan's going to favor playing in Champions League over the league? He's not going to play in both. He can't.
No, that's a fair point. I don't know if
it is a fair point, but I bet he's going to try. This is the guy that said he was going to play the Euros. I mean,
yeah,
I think he's going to.
This is the guy that came back at 36 years of age after a pretty bad knee injury and still were performing at high level. Yeah, he's had a bad run of them this year, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen next year.
Yeah,
it's unlikely.
It's hard to get worse. It's hard to get worse injury luck than what he had. So surely it can only get better.
Well, and if he keeps the form that he started last season with, then we're in good shape because the game's going to be so much more spread out. He had like 6 goals after the first 3 games, and that was in like 9 days. So I mean, if he can continue that without having to play a game every 2 days, then it might go even longer. He might get 20 goals next season or something crazy. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that it's not because the thing is, I think the frequency of his muscle problems has obviously been a bit of a worry, but the most damaging thing is that even if he gets like a grade 1 muscle problem, like he has been with his hamstring and he did with his thigh, it would have before, and it took most players 2 weeks to come back from that. but it's taken him a month every time, and it becomes harder to recover at that age from muscle problems. So we've got to hope that they're flushed out. I hope our medical team are doing something different this summer, because we had so many injuries. Yeah, that as well. I wanted us to sign Pintus, because Conte left Inter, and he's widely regarded as like one of the best fitness coaches in the world. And I thought, he's now free. We could snap him up. And if you think about Inter last season, how many late goals they scored, the lack of injuries to star players, apart from Sensi, who's made of glass anyway, he would have been like bigger than a signing in some ways. But he's gone to Real Madrid, so it is what it is. So this one comes from Rohit, and I wanted to ask this because we went at it on DMs on Twitter about this. Me and Ollie had a debate on this. I'd like to get Gian, Anthony, and Madison's opinion. Should Milan purchase Papu Gomez or Ilicic, let Hakan go, and then save up for summer 2022 to sign a new attacking midfielder then? So I was dead against the idea of signing Ilicic and or Papu Gomez because they're both 33. They've both shown very little in the second half of the season, which suggests to me that they're running out of steam a little bit. Ilicic, not so much, but Papu relies on pace and being nimble and his trickery and his technique. And that goes when you're in your mid-30s. It does go. And I just feel like it's completely counterintuitive to our project of youth players. You want to load the forward department with young players who can press like fuck. Who have a really, really big engine, I don't know, for want of a better phrase, and I just feel like that it could be a detriment to us.
Yeah, I'm for it. I say sign them both. I don't think it's even something where you sign both and then the following season look for a replacement, see what they could do. Maybe it's a 2-year solution, maybe it's a 3-year solution, maybe it is just one. But I think Papu can play out wide and have Ilicic in the middle. And that actually allows us to play Rebic and Leao. They're both quicker than normal, and if that unlocks Papu, who would be replacing Castillejo, that's obviously an improvement. Ilicic is fantastic. I think Papu slowed down the second half of the season because he was at Sevilla. New system, completely different league, one he's not familiar with. Bring him back to Serie A, where he's been a demon for the last 3 or 4 seasons. It makes sense to me. And if our goal is to stay in the Champions League and improve on where we were, there's only one other position better than what we finished, and that's the Scudetto. So if we want to win, which is the next step forward, then it doesn't matter about a youth project. What matters is signing winners, and they're proven to be able to get points. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Papu, and he reminds me a little bit like Ribery. Now he's at Fiorentina, small, he's still got a bit of pace behind him. Close control, trickery, and we were doing fantastic the second part of the season with Fiorentina. So I wouldn't say any 6-7 years younger, so that's a big bonus for me. And then Ilicic, fantastic, number 7 in Serie A.
To build off that, I would even take a punt on getting Ribery. I saw they were looking to renew him for just $2 million a year for another season.
Yeah, but he barely played last season.
Yeah,
I think he was injured though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so why would you even risk? We've seen the Mandzukic thing.
$2 million. $2 million.
But it's $2 million. It's $2 million that could be spent
Who
elsewhere.
do we have in his position right now?
He's a left winger, so we've got Rebic and Leao. Like, are you really benching Leao for Ribery? It's like people who wanted to go out and break the bank for Insigne. I'm thinking that's a bit of a 2 fingers up to Rebic, who nearly outscored him this season.
I would go for Insigne too.
Well, yeah, he's the kind of player that instantly raises the level of the team. People arguing against signing Insigne because we've already got 2 left wingers, so you're certainly not going to do anything where you're bringing in a 39-year-old Ribery or whatever he is now. I think we need an experienced body in midfield. I would say that, not this player specifically, but it's like a Javi Martinez type holding midfielder, someone who's a winner, who knows how to dictate a game, who knows when to slow it down. Because at the moment we're bringing, someone like that. At the moment we're bringing a really excited 21-year-old Tonali off the bench, or Mete, who has been good and bad, but we need someone who's never going to give us a bad performance in that role, especially with AFCON, because Benacer and Kessie are going to be missing for a month, which is not ideal.
Would you take Bakayoko back?
Yes.
I would.
I think I would.
But I think they're going to offload him. I think if it were the right deal, you know, you're talking a few million and a decent contract, then maybe, because I think he'd be back in a heartbeat. But from what I gather, since he left us, he's done absolutely nothing. You know, he went to Monaco. And
he's on a road trip week 2 around Italy at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's linked to Fiorentina. But, I mean, this is the last season of his Chelsea contract. They're going to let him go. And they were even talking about loaning him to Fiorentina. So, essentially, he's just gone this season. So, it's like, why not just put our name in the hat? You know, if it's a loan, we're not going to pay the full wages. Yeah, exactly. Upgrade on Mate. It's free, whether we want to sign him further or not. I mean,
I agree.
Can't hurt. He already knows how to do a double pivot with Kessie anyways, you know. So
one of the most exciting players that I think we've been linked with, like, by multiple sources so far this summer, and you'll probably be like, who the hell is this guy? But Boubacar Kamara at Marseille.
No one says, who the hell is this guy? Everyone knows who that is.
Right, great. Young, holding midfielder, can also play centre back. But if you're looking for someone who can be like long-term option for the midfield, and we're wanting to inject youth into the squad, then someone like him would be absolutely ideal. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in two minds about the midfield. Part of me thinks let's get someone in who's a bit of a bastard and a winner. But then part of me is like, no, it's the way forward because we need reliable legs at this point. Because we can't have another situation where Krunic and Calabria is the double pivot, you know?
Yeah. Didn't he just get signed to Leicester?
No, that's Tomori, who's from Lille. But we were linked with him a lot as well.
That's what it was.
And then it was there was a Fofana, but it's a different Fofana. Yeah. No, but he's another one. And then there was another holding midfielder from France. But it seems like we're looking to France quite a lot, which is I think
it makes sense.
There's value in that market, and
the tax benefit of going foreign. Yeah. So it just makes sense.
Yeah. So this is it. Transfer season has pretty much begun. Season recap done. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to close with, boys?
No, we finally kept it under an hour. That's the first time in a while. So
might drag it out now.
I'd just like to say thank you to my friends and my family who have supported me through this great quiz show. It's an honour to have now won it twice in a row and still be the champion. I look forward to it next season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Brilliant. Your trophy's in the post, mate. It's a key ring that's going to be 3 weeks late. How big is that key ring, by the way? I thought it was just going to be a little thing. It's absolutely huge.
It's like a full-on match jersey, just on your keys.
I don't know how you meant to put that in your pocket. But yeah, brilliant. Well, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. Thank you for joining me, AJ, as always, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, I've been your true quiz winner. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going to splice the audio one way or another.
I like to see you try.
That's actually clever. Yeah, that is clever. Maddie, do you want to sign out?
Yeah, it's been a good season. I'm excited to see what we do this summer and see who we sign.
Mm-hmm. John?
Who's John?
John Mario?
Wow. Yeah, pleasure as always.
Some things that I wanted to actually mention before we go. Check out the merchandise shop if you haven't already. We're going to be uploading a new design very soon, which is like a celebration of the season, features all the players from the squad. There's some teaser designs on our Twitter, so go and have a look at that. That's great. And then also watch out for a new series that we're starting on YouTube. More information will come out about that, but the first video of this new series is going up on Friday, so look out for that. Very excited to launch these. They're going to be coming out twice a month, so every fortnight. And yeah, more details in due course. But thank you for watching, everybody, and we will catch you in a week's time.
Conti, bella palla per Rebic, Ibra, Rebic, il tiro, gol!